Hey everybody, Austin back again, continuing the Sega Master System Let's Play Marathon for July 2014. And next up in line is Fantasy Zone 2, as you can see, which is actually a direct sequel to the first one, which was originally an arcade game, as well as a Master System game, TurboGrafx 16 game, NES game, and so forth. Although one of the best versions of the first Fantasy Zone was definitely on the Sega Master System, as you'll see for a lot of these sort of Sega arcade conversions. Fantasy Zone really had the benefit on the Master System of just being able to take advantage of the Master System's wide color palette and so forth. So it was a much prettier and more colorful version of Fantasy Zone than the 8-bit NES version, for instance. And Fantasy Zone 2 sort of takes that to the next level. And what really impresses me about this game is the fact that it was released in '87. A lot of NES games from that time period were still a little rough around the edges in terms of color and art style and stuff like that. But Fantasy Zone 2, 1987, is probably one of the most colorful games of that console generation. And it was still a relatively early Master System game when you think about it. The Master System lasted several years after in the US and far longer in other regions. So yeah, let's go ahead and just kick off this game. I'll try to explain it to the best of my ability as I play the game. Fantasy Zone, the series in general, has always had constant streams of enemies coming at you, and that is going to make it a little more challenging to talk and play at the same time. But as usual, I'll try to do my best here. And what I want to do is actually sort of clear out some enemies and so forth, so I have a little more room to talk and explain how this game works. So every single enemy in this game, or at least every single pattern of enemies in this game, drops money. And money is actually really good in this game to pick up if you can, because it's currency that allows you to buy items and so forth once you discover shops. And in the first Fantasy Zone, there was a shop bubble that would just sort of float down the screen at random, and you could always expect one to pop into the screen every so often. Fantasy Zone 2 sort of mixes things up, and you have to actually find the shop in each level you play. So yeah, I'm just trying to kill some enemies, clear the screen so I can talk. Okay, so there's a couple of main goals in Fantasy Zone, and this is pretty much carried over from the first Fantasy Zone. And basically the ultimate goal is to defeat all of these really big enemies on the screen, the guys that take a lot of hits, and they don't really move around, they just sit there and look funny and toss enemies out at you and so forth. And they give you a lot of money when you kill them. Some of them in this game will leave warp zones behind, which are necessary to go through, and I'll explain that next. But once all of those big stationary enemies are destroyed, you will be able to access the boss room. And by defeating the boss in the boss room, you will essentially go on to the next stage. And you basically rinse and repeat until you've, well, beaten the game. And so yeah, that's pretty much the gist of Fantasy Zone. But there's a little more to it as well. Like I said, you can earn up money and so forth, and you go to shops to make life a lot easier. And shops are pretty much mandatory in this game. You are not going to beat this game without accessing some shops. The game is Fantasy Zone 2 in particular, which I've never actually beaten before, so don't expect me to complete this game live in this Let's Play. Fantasy Zone 2 is an extremely difficult game, and it picks up on difficulty really, really fast, just a couple levels in. So visiting the shop is really imperative in this game. But yeah, that's basically the main goal. Defeat all the bosses, and to access the bosses, you pretty much have to defeat all the large stationary enemies. These are not stationary enemies, these are just constant streams of spawning enemies. They constantly come out, and it's the same patterns over and over again. So learning the patterns of each set of enemies in each stage will definitely help your chances of survival. But once you defeat all the stationary enemies, you go to the boss, and defeat the boss, and you move on, and that's it. So it looks like I've already earned a good little chunk of money. That's going to get me through quite a bit in this level. So let's go ahead and take a warp zone. And here are the big stationary enemies I was talking about just a few moments ago. So again, the goal, and this is pretty much the same goal in the first Fantasy Zone as well, in case you don't ever play this game, but you do maybe play the first one. The goal is to pretty much destroy all these stationary guys. A lot of times they drop a lot of money, and in the first level they drop about 500 bucks. And that's actually not much in the grand scheme of things in this game. As you progress through the levels, enemies will start dropping more and more money that's worth more. And so basically the value of the cash goes up as you go through the game. They'll start dropping dollar bills that are worth like 1,000 instead of 500 and so forth. But every time you buy something in the shop, which we're now at, it will increase in value the next time you try to buy it. So, and I don't know if I should go with the big bomb or the twin bombs. I think the twin bombs will probably be more useful. So let's go ahead with the big bombs, or twin bombs, sorry. And let me get the laser just to show you what it's like. You have special secondary items you can buy in this game, but they are only last temporarily. They don't last that long. So I don't usually buy them early on in the game because, you know, their price, every time you buy one, the price goes up the next time you want to buy it. So I like to leave them available for the harder parts in the game where they'll still cost less because I haven't bought a bunch of them. So, but just for demonstration purposes, I went ahead and picked up the laser beam. And here we go. And you pretty much have a, you know, an item select screen after the shop. This is the only time you can access this item select screen. And you pretty much access it by tapping up or down, which confused me at first. And you press left or right to switch. Normal engine speeds you up a lot faster than the small wings. And actually, this is going to be extremely fast. I'm actually going to be moving around very quickly. So let's make sure twin bombs are selected, lasers on. And if you don't want to use your secondary item, you can actually go back to your regular shot. And whenever you go back to the shop, you can go back and equip any items that you have. If you have multiple items, though, when you die, you lose all your items. You have to rebuy all of them. So I don't recommend stocking up on multiple items. If you really have to, just go back to the shop and rebuy them. Because, well, you're probably going to have to do that anyway. Because when you die, you lose your engine as well, and you're extremely slow. So, okay, with that out of the way, let's go ahead, hit a button, and get out of it. So we got the laser selected. Let's go ahead and go through another warp zone. Nope, wrong one. I've already been there. That's the first screen. So here we go. More big guys. And as you can see, the laser just like really mows through these guys. Something to be aware of, though, is as you progress through the game, enemies, those big enemies especially, start to take a lot more damage to take down. So your special items actually become less useful as you progress through the game. So okay, we're already at the boss. Essentially, once you destroy all the big stationary enemies, like I said, you can go to the boss room. And the first level doesn't really take all that long to get through, but the game starts to take much longer as you progress further through the game. But I'm going to try to take a lot of these guys down as quickly as I can. One of the tactics I use, and this is a really good tactic if you're new to this game, or maybe if you're familiar with the game, but maybe you want to try to play better, is get up close and use both your main shot and your bombs at the same time. Just like so. So I think that's all the big stationary enemies on this screen. Yep, so I'm going to go ahead and take a warp zone. And you pretty much just rinse and repeat for the rest of the stage. Now you do have to watch out for these enemy patterns. Some of them come out from the tops of the screen, which is kind of bad if you're just hovering at the top of the screen, trying to destroy one of these big stationary enemies. Like those green guys. So you have to watch out for that. Now, there are some secret areas you can get to in this game. They will give you special power-ups. They'll give you health boosts. As you can see, there's actually a health bar at the top of the screen. It's that little red spot. And that's actually your health meter, which you did not have in the first Fantasy Zone. Fantasy Zone 1, it was always one hit and you're dead. I don't think there were any shields or anything in that game, which made it tough. But Fantasy Zone 2, you can actually find health upgrades, and you can even find shields, which block hits and so forth. Now, I want to say this area or screen actually has a secret. It's right here. I actually just found it. There you go. I just extended my health meter. by getting that secret compartment. Now, when you play through this game, you're going to notice that some enemy patterns are easier to deal with than others. Like these green guys, I just kind of avoid because they're pretty much the only enemies on this level that actually shoot out at you. And once enemies start shooting, it's a lot harder to deal with them. And so I like just dealing with these enemies that don't really shoot. And you can pretty much just milk them for all the money they're worth. Like even this pattern right here, which is a little more tricky because they come down at an angle. But these white enemies here, very easy to take out. They're pretty much just like... they're non-existent as a problem. Here's another shop. Let's see what they've got. Extra ship. This is really good. It's extra life. As far as I'm aware, you don't get any continues in this game. So, yeah. Extra lives are awesome in this game. So nothing else to equip. Let's just continue on. Extra lives get exponentially... more expensive as the game goes on, though. The first one's 5,000. The second one, I want to say, is like 20,000. It's ridiculous. But you eventually have the money to buy the $20,000 one. And then I want to say it goes up to like 40 or 50,000 after that. It gets really crazy. And looks like money that enemies are dropping right now aren't worth that much. So it looks like that was only 250. So yeah, it's not that much right now, at least in terms of trying to save up for another extra life. So I wonder if that's all the... I think that's... Oh, there was all the screens. Okay, I thought there was one more. So again, like I said, one of the tactics I use on the big stationary enemies is to use both my bombs and my firepower at the same time. And you can use that same technique on bosses to essentially defeat bosses a lot faster. Got all the cash from the boss, so now we're on level 3. And I want to say this is where enemies start shooting a lot more, and so the game becomes a lot more difficult. But I think this is also where enemies start giving you a lot more money, because those small coins are already giving me $150, which, yeah, the money is definitely grown big time. Yeah, I'm getting 300 now for the big coins. So this is where, you know, it starts to becoming worth it a little bit more to grind up on cash. Let's see if there are any hidden items here. I like to go through the bottom of each stage. Sometimes going up and down like this is worthwhile as well, because not every hidden item is on the bottom of the screen. Some of them are higher up. And so pretty much just spamming your way through can be great. It can be a great tactic to find those hidden rooms. Those hidden rooms are really, really crucial, especially as you progress farther into the game. Because again, you start getting shields, which are extremely important in this game. Because these games are just, just wait until you see some of the later enemy patterns. It gets pretty nuts. Again, sort of just grinding for money. I like to take my time, and like I know what the ultimate goal is. It's to kill all these big, fat enemies that are just sort of sitting here nonchalantly. But having money is really good in this game, because you are going to need to use it. Once you die, you have to have money to pretty much, well, get your build back up to snuff. Because here's another secret right here. Time. I have no idea what that just did. I got a little clock. Maybe that extends the time of my special items, but I don't have any special items right now, so it actually didn't do me a whole lot of good, unless it means something else, and I didn't know. Look, another secret right here. Oh, that was close. That was really close. If you're a greedy individual, you will love Fantasy Zone. Because, I mean, just look at this. All I'm doing is just like money, 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 money. But it's also really tough because it's the sort of game where, I mean... Oh, look, you can buy a continue. I'm gonna have to save up money and do that. I'm gonna do it right away, just in case. So I definitely want the blue bottle. Shit. I wanted the red bottle first. Ah! I thought the red bottle was just going to increase my health. That was dumb on my part. Shield. Really important. What I'm going to do is actually buy the auto beam. And then I'm going to grind for money. 20 grand worth, almost. Or 1,800 worth. 18,000, sorry. To get these two as well, because these are the shield especially. Essentially right now you can see my health meter. I have basically 2 hits worth right now. So I have a bit of a safety shield right now, but this shield will also give me even more safety, which is really good once you get powered up. So let's go ahead and oops. Okay. The auto shot is working right away. I want to say the auto shot is permanent. So these hidden upgrades are permanent. They're not temporary like your normal shop items. At least I think so. We're going to find out the hard way. If my rapid shot goes away, then we know what the answer is. But we're basically going to just be grinding now, because we really, really need these items. They definitely... They help you a lot, especially the farther you get in the game. You really start... The game starts to becoming really, really challenging very, very quickly. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this auto firepower is permanent, which is why I wanted it before. The big shot's great, but you still have to mash the button really fast. So, this auto firepower is almost even better. And it's letting me just, like, mow through these enemies really, really, really fast. Which is handy. Money, 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 money. This music is so, like, happy. Like, if you're the kind of person that doesn't really like happy music in video games, this might be the sort of game where you want to just turn the volume down. Me, I don't mind happy music in games like this, but I have to admit, it does get really repetitive. It's literally like 15-second loops. Maybe 20-second loops, and it's just the same thing over and over. There's no real change in the dynamics or anything like that. And like most Master System games, it uses the typical white noise style sound. The sound chip in the Master System, as far as I'm aware, could only do so much. It wasn't quite as flexible as the one in the NES. Or at least if it was, a lot of developers didn't really do much with it. In Japan, it was actually kind of interesting because there were actually FM synthesis, FM chip models of, well, Master Systems over in Japan had basically the original sound hardware that we got in the US, but it also had a Yamaha sound chip in it. And, or another, I don't remember if the original sound hardware was Yamaha or if it was someone else, but it basically had almost like the same kind of sound chip as what you found in like the Sega Genesis. I totally forgot what the sound chip was called. I should know that name off the, by memory now, but I don't. So I'm trying to play and talk at the same time, and it's really hard in Fantasy Zone 2. But essentially, some games would take advantage of the FM sound hardware, FM synthesized sound hardware, FM synthesis hardware. I can't even talk straight. And some games would take advantage of that. And those games that did would generally sound a lot better than the ones that just used the standard Master System, or Mark III, as it was called in Japan, sound hardware. The games that use the FM synth processor sounded a lot better. Alex Kidd, The Lost Stars was one that supported it. I want to say Kinsaiden, or Kinsaiden, which we covered in our last episode, did it as well. Used it as well, according to at least a video I saw on YouTube. It seemed like it supported it. So over in Japan, Master System got some games that were really enhanced in that regard, sound-wise. So it looks like we're at 18,000. I want to see... Okay, it looks like these things are permanently sold out. So let's go ahead and buy these items and progress on. And I want to say the auto firepower is permanent. So auto fire and big shot should be combined. Oh yeah, look at that. That's what I'm talking about. And I also have a shield. So I shouldn't have to worry as much about dying. That's not really a reason to start slacking off, though, because again, like I said, this game is tough, and you really don't want to slack off in this game if you can avoid it, or if you can help it. So doing just a little bit more grinding, just in case I do die. I want to have a tiny bit of money left over to at least get another engine or something like that. So... Alright, well that's going to be good. Let's go ahead and go to the next one. Alright, already been here. Can't go to the warp zone, or the red warp zone yet, which means that we still have another section to clear. Or 2, or 3. Again, these levels get larger and larger, and they take more time to get through the farther you get. Already been here. Let's try this one. Alright, it's looking good. Well, those guys just flew straight in. I must have missed the first part of their pattern. Because normally they just don't fly in like that. Those red... Yeah, they come up from the ground like so. Whoa. Let's see what's in this shop. Don't want any of this. The jet engine is way too fast. Way too fast. And we don't really need anything else. I mean, the laser beam's cool, the three-way shot's cool, but they're temporary. Our auto shot is even better. So, yeah, we want to just keep everything as is. Now, I think there's going to be a twin big bomb later on in the game. So once we find that, we'll eventually upgrade to that. But right now, we're good. We don't really need anything else. Let's see if we can exit. Oh, no, there's this one. Okay. Alright, now let's see. Well, let's see if there's a secret here. I doubt it. No, it doesn't look like it. Whoa! I got lucky there. Really lucky. Now the thing is, you've got so many different screens you go to, you have to remember, okay, which one has the warp exit in it? And as these levels get bigger and bigger, you're going to have to do more experimenting and backtracking many times, almost unnecessarily, but, you know, if you don't memorize where the warp exit is and how to get there, it's it can be, you can get lost pretty quickly. I think this is where enemies start getting a little more, well, no, I don't think this level's that bad now that I think about it. It actually might be a little bit easier enemy-wise than the last level in terms of the enemy patterns. Like, this pattern is pretty easy. These guys you have to watch out for, the vertical row column of enemies, because they do shoot. Looks like these guys are starting to give me A lot of cash, though. Let's see how much they're going to give me. So we're... I won't say it's like 400. I don't know if I counted it right, because they just keep throwing streams out at me. Okay, yeah, it is 400 even. I just saw it that time. Now these little guys, they were actually, I believe, in the very first level of the first Fantasy Zone, so some enemies from that game do make a return, which was cool. I like it when games do that, or sequels do that, where the sequel might have, you know, the same or similar gameplay, but it almost doesn't feel like a sequel entirely if they don't bring back some of like the enemies or enemy-style designs from the first game. And so Fantasy Zone 2 does do that, which is cool. I'm already up to 43,000 already. Yeah, I mean, grinding here doesn't feel nearly as bad because you're getting more money. And again, if you haven't really spent that much on upgrades, you're going to have a lot of money, but the upgrades aren't going to cost that much to upgrade when you do actually finally die. And you will die, because it's Fantasy Zone. They should have just called it Fantasy Zone 2, the game where you will die, because you are going to die, and you'll see what I mean once we get a few more levels in. So enough grinding for now. See, grinding it's so addictive to grind in this game because it's just a constant stream of enemies, and you're just like, I shouldn't be grinding, but just one more will give me $400 more, and it's just like, so I'm already up to $51,000. Just a few moments ago, we were only at like 43,000. You grind so like your money increases so quickly in value that it becomes even more fun to grind as the game progresses. And you know, like I said, you tell yourself not to grind. You want to just, like, you're recording a Let's Play and you just want to finish the game, or try to. The enemies are worth so much money now, like I just also kind of just want to grind. It's double-edged sword, I guess. So what we're going to try to do is find a secret area. I think, you know, try to go through these levels and, first what I like to do, like I mentioned before, is go through the... Oh, see it, found one. There's a blue one, which refills my health. So I did find a secret. I don't know if there's 2 secrets or more in this one. Already up to 64,000. Not even like 3 minutes ago was I at 43,000. So we we ground for our points. We grinded for our points really quickly. Let's go ahead and buy an extra life then. See, look, the last one was 20,000. Now it's 50, and I think it's 100,000 after that. But I mean, if you really want to grind, you can, because as you see, we got about $20,000 in just a couple minutes time at this level. So I mean, it really helps to have the power-ups like we have. So that definitely goes a long ways too. So oh wow, yeah, their big dollar bills give us 2,000 now. So that's really why our money's been increasing big time. Because I've killed a bunch of these guys. I mean, I just got $6,000 in 20 seconds of gameplay. So that's pretty huge. I mean, that's not to discount these enemies either. I mean, killing 3 patterns gave me 1,200, essentially. So I can't get over the fact that we're earning money so quickly. I mean, like I said, we're going to need it. And you guys have been watching so far, probably saying, yeah, whatever. I'll believe it when I see it, but you'll believe it. Trust me. I'm not grinding just to bore you. I'm grinding because we will need it. And, well, I will admit, I get sidetracked. Alright. Oh, okay, cool. eligible for the boss. This is a boss you probably just would not complete without having like a faster engine. So we're back up to $68,000. But let's just analyze what these enemies do first, because one of the big mistakes you can make in this game is just going gung-ho right off the bat if you're not familiar with the level. Like, there are these guys... Enemies just tend to really fly in from all sides of the screen on this level. So what I'm probably going to do is just take it easy, focus on all the enemies, and hope that... focus on the enemies that are going to fly in. Like those guys. And these guys. I'm just waiting for them to pop back in. There we go. There they are. And there they are. Wow, we're getting 500 for the big coins now. Alright, we got our first warp zone. Oh yeah, you gotta watch out for these guys because they come from the ceiling. And it looks like the patterns, they pretty much go in the same order every time. So it's that pattern, the green guys, then it's gonna be the guys falling from the ceiling right afterwards. Just like so. Whoa. Fireball, what is that? I'm not about to experiment. And I don't think we need the turbo engine. We go fast enough as it is. The thing about the really fast engines is that, yeah, you go super fast, but it's more just for show than for actual use. Because how do you expect to dodge bullets if pressing forward once sent you all the way across the screen? It's so fast. Yeah, I don't even know why these are here. I think it's just for fun, just to show you how fast you can go. But yeah. The enemies pretty much stay in the same spots, too, when you go into a shop. So you do have to be careful about that. Hey, feels chaotic. This game just gets crazier and crazier. What I like about these green enemies is that when you destroy them, they're coming so fast that the money always falls right into you. So it's like you don't even have to go chasing for it, unlike other enemies, which is cool. It's like, hey, I don't have to do any work! Whoa, that was close. I should have known better than that. I knew those guys were coming from the top, but I stayed at the top anyway. Well, we're actually experiencing some slowdown now. I don't think there's been a whole lot of slowdown yet. I mean, I can understand why there's slowdown now. There's just a lot going on. Alright, enemies from the top. Whoa, they bounce! Okay. It's really important to kill these guys in, because they start bouncing after you. So, I mean, I guess there becomes a point essentially in Fantasy Zone 2 where you have to take your time. Because, I mean, if you just bolt through this, and if your main goal is survival, good luck surviving. You know, it's that sort of thing. Alright, see what's in this shop. Big twin bombs. We want that. We don't really want anything else. So, the heavy bombs are pretty cool. At least, I don't remember if they operate this way in this one, but in the first Fantasy Zone, essentially they would drop from the top of the screen all the way to the bottom based on where you were on that screen. So if you lined yourself up with a big stationary enemy, a 100-ton block would fall from the top of the screen and destroy that big enemy in one hit. So yeah, we don't need that. Nope, no warp, so I'm missing something, obviously. There we go. Well, that's... Oh! I got a, a hidden door. That was pretty cool. And that's great. I got a life extension and a life refill at the same time. I still haven't gotten hit, so I still have my shield. And I still have, my shield, and I have those 4 hits or so from, my life extensions as well. I'm really glad I found that shop just completely by accident, because that's a big, big help. I think... Was that all the enemies? I think that was all of them. So we might be able to actually exit now. Let me go right. Got so much money. Nice. Well, that wasn't hard. No sarcasm that time. That was actually really easy. Alright, let's see what the enemies do. We got flying dudes that go upwards. We got dudes that come out and shoot. We got dudes that shoot. And we got guys that fly in... Is there another pattern? We got guys that fly in a curvy pattern. And then, so we got guys flying at an angle again. And we got guys that shoot. Okay, I guess that's it. It's not gonna be too hard to deal with, at least I don't think so. Whoa. Got curvy guys flying in. By curvy guys, I mean guys flying with a curvy pattern. Alright, I don't know what the smart bomb does, have no idea. And again, I'm not ready to experiment. We've been doing pretty solid with this weapon combination. So it looks like we can hit our first warp zone. Yeah, lots of bullets and so forth, so... Alright, let's go try this one. Whoa! Gotta watch out for those guys, man. They come down quick. Alright, so no secret rooms as far as I'm aware. Sorry, I'm not talking a whole lot right here, but I'm like really intent on focusing. I think this is the first time I've actually gotten this far in Fantasy Zone 2 without dying and being this overly powerful. Like, I knew about stacking the big gun or the big shot or the twin big shot with the auto firepower, but I did not know I could have this much health and shields at the same time getting this far into the game. Whoa, that was close. Very close. Okay, boss time. Get the big bills first, they're worth more. Wow, I'm almost at $200,000. Okay, this level gets pretty wild. Like, these guys just are so fast in this stage. Question is, what is the next enemy pattern going to do? I want to say I haven't gotten past this level before. I've gotten here. But these guys come in so quickly, it's a really tough stage. But if you sort of plan for it, it's not nearly as bad. So now the guys are going to come in from the bottom. Whoa. I just lost my shield. Alright, gotta play it safe. Lost my shield. Well, it looks like if the enemies only come from the bottom, we don't have to worry about staying at the top now. So we can just totally stay at the top. Which is going to be really useful for these green dudes that just, they come out really fast. Green dudes are going to come out again, so let's just wait for them to go away. Looks like these blue guys we don't have to worry about too much. They're not that threatening if you stay at the top, according to what I can tell. I'm liking this slowdown now. It's giving me more time to react to these dudes. Whoa, that was close. Green guy's gonna come out, just like so. Green guy's gonna come back out. Like I said, it's just they do the same patterns over and over. As long as you can play by those patterns, I think you'll be good. 7-way shot. Could really use a shield right about now. Green guys. Looks like the blue guys come out almost right away. Let's go through this warp zone. Green guy's gonna come back out. Secret room. Oh, another life extension. Look at that. I feel so powerful right now. Oh, man. Green guys. Blue guys. Blue and yellow, I think. Green guys again. Blue guys. Green guy's gonna be coming back out. It's like, yeah, slow down. I want slow down now. Allows me to think a little bit more clearly. Green guy's gonna come back out. Just like so. The thing about the green guys is if you don't kill them all, they just keep coming in and out, in and out. It's a little challenging. I think I just found another secret. Whoa! Whoa! I got another timer, and I have no idea what that timer does. I still don't know what it does. Oh yes! Boss fight! Ooh. That's actually pretty cool. I've never gotten to this boss before. I like that. Feels more like a standard shoot 'em up. More dodging. A little crazy. That's trippy. Oh man, that was so trippy. I'm spinning around so quickly. Oh. Oh man, are we at the final boss now? Look at that. I can get multiple extra lives. Oh, I don't know if it's stacked though. Okay, so extra lives max out at 100,000. Well, I've got 100 grand left. I think if I lose, it's probably going to take me back to the shop. I think that's what happened in the first Fantasy Zone. So let's go ahead and hope that... Wolfin, what is this? Do we fight the bosses over again? Oh yeah, we do. Pretty sure this happens in the first Fantasy Zone as well. Of course, with the big power-up, it's really not that hard. Big power-ups. And the rapid fire. Bosses are really only challenging, at least up until the final boss. Bosses are only challenging in Fantasy Zone 2 if you're not powered up. If you're not powered up, I mean, they can actually give you a run for your money. They are very tough. I keep trying to go in and grab the money even though there's no money there. No money. I'm a little sad. It's close. He moved faster than he did the first time I got to him. They make this more challenging now because... that sucks, man. They make it more challenging because when I first got to that boss, if I held left, I just moved backwards while still firing in the other direction. And if I do that now, it's, if I move left, my character fires left at the same time, which made that last boss a lot more challenging. That does not leave me very hopeful, to be honest, because that's tough. I don't know what I want to do here, because I don't have the auto firepower anymore, and I don't have the big shot anymore. I'm going to go with just twin bombs right now, because they're cheaper. They're still cheap. And I'm going to go with... So I think it's going to start me off at the very beginning again, going through all those bosses. So these... Oh, there's big shot. Okay, I'm going to save the big shot. Laser beam. I'm going to go ahead and get the laser beam just for grins. But I think they're going to start me back off where I was last time. I'm going to go with the turbo engine. It sounds stupid, but for that last boss we were just fighting, I think it's hard to dodge in between the bullets because he comes up really close and gives you little room to react. So if I can just fly around the bullets, that might work better. So let's hope for the best here. Oh, it takes me straight to him. Yeah, see, like that, just sort of fly over them. This dude is such a pain in the ass. I'm telling you. Ugh. Oh, that's ridiculous. He comes all the way over. And that's just crazy, man. Alright, let's try it the old way again. And, I don't know what would be better. The 7-way or... Maybe the 7-way would be good. Alright, let's try this. Oh, that is intense. Some of these bosses are definitely more challenging than they... Oh, no, not... Oh, not this fucker again. He was in the first Fantasy Zone. I bet you this is going to be almost impossible by a certain point. Because I can't fire fast enough. I did not like this boss in the first Fantasy Zone. I have to fight myself? I feel like I'm playing a Mega Man game. Mega Man 1. I wonder if it saves my position with this boss. I don't know. It doesn't. I didn't think it would. Because it doesn't in the first Fantasy Zone. At least in terms of this final form. The dudes coming out. Oh, shit. I fell for it again, man. What a pain. How are you supposed to dodge that? I'm gonna need like a really fast engine. Turbo engine again. I only have 2 lives left. This isn't looking good, guys. It's not looking good at all. Well, to be honest with you, I never thought I'd get this far. So, there is that to consider. Really? And there goes my firepower again. What a pain in the ass. God, man. I'm totally running out of cash here. I can't buy another extra life. I did buy a continue, though. But if I run out of money, what is a continue going to do me, right? So... I don't even know what any of these do. That's the problem. I mean, 3-way shot. Try the wide beam. Try the, I wonder if, this will work. Let me try the smart bomb. And hope that the smart bomb works against myself. Well, the wide beam is not very powerful. Okay, so you can at least touch the, Okay, Smart Missile did destroy that thing in 1 hit. I used 2, though. That wasn't good. Oh, the Smart Missile didn't do anything for this guy. Oh, got him. I have no control. Either I beat the game or this is the final boss. Oh. I think I just beat the game? If I did, that's the first time I've ever beaten this game. With the riddle of the who is the enemy's mastermind further deepening, the war comes to an end. Wait, there was a war? Peace will once again be restored to the Fantasy Zone. Space year June 29th, 6226. Oh, jeez. Now, come to think of it, there was actually a story introduction series, or section, that we skipped through. So, I totally forgot there was even really a story to this game. So we get this really cutesy game that, at the end, gets all philosophical on us. That's, yeah, go figure, huh? So basically, you were the problem of this entire game, and if you weren't the problem to begin with, there would be no game. So I guess it was an excuse to have a game. Or a sequel to the first Fantasy Zone. So, wow, that's kind of like a really crappy ending. Like, you could have just gave me the end after beating that boss. I would have been happy. Like, or some cool, like, funky pictures with groovy music in the background with no text or anything. That would have been even better. But alright guys, there you have it. This video actually went on a lot longer than I expected it to. But I also did not expect to complete this game. So, again, we're sort of at the beginning of this Sega Master System Let's Play Marathon. And definitely stay tuned for another Let's Play on the Sega Master System in the next couple of days. So, thanks again for watching, guys, and stay tuned. Take care.